All right, today is yet another beautiful day the Lord has given unto you, and I ebusia any day kwan smema obi bia kwa aba stronko ede no about possible multimedia. Me amedi medium ho chia me meeting Eddie Francis Achu aka possible me did say adon any ahweye nti onyankopɔ adom menu mie na ye ho ebusia aha no mamo aya we say anytime any day be di nhemu e wa fidie so na che say amanyo nsem a etwa gu wo man konkron Ghana emu nsem ebi ena mo song for Francis Achu aka possible mado nsem no mu asuko akɔhwehwe bia me di bi eba beso na ema ore mfisi se aha mamo aya we say ye ni atem ya dwen ne che based on what we see and hear. Ebusian, let's not forget say possible multimedia is here to educate, inform and entertain, and so therefore we do not tolerate insults on this particular platform. Any day kwan so mamo aya we say 2024 abato afi edema oman konkon Ghana enunti ama political parties ahodo ni na obi aye wild at say oye ni campaign said the beya nkunimdie no beko ede amano na ne founder and leader of the new force and idin ede Nana Kwame bedi akon edin adodo na ede frɛ no ewe wiase afana nyina eye Freedom Jacob Caesar anase Cheddar na nsem otwe ni ti say obe contest to be the president of Oman Ghana no nipa bebre na agina tum ewo social media ama na started granting interviews na nsem opie mu ewo Kumase granting interview na during the interview section no asemba ko kan say obe dredge the epo akọ Ashanti region. Of course, yes, nipa bi ebedwin say nye possible, but me mo ya we say it is done. It has been done before, so it is possible for him to do it. Abusia and then so papa during an interview again, I can send back you could realize and I say if you pay attention and listen to what he's saying, who say he has a vision. Or say wealth makes people value and respect you. Na ohwe oman konkron Ghana with all the mineral resources are your are still yesan ko bopwesia yesan ko ye sebe yesan ko ye nkwala ewo aman foforo so ansa no omo aba boaye no no hu ne say as an individual no no nko atumi a break boundaries aye nyoma bebre e de aboa ne ho asa employee nipa bebre dia ene so nyakonya na so beti obedi on my penny ana so nyakonya na obeye on my penny e de ma on my konkron Ghana nyoma bebre no betumi asesa na ono hu ne say Ghana mpenifo eteso no one may say ebia omo ye selfish ana say ebia allegedly any dey kwan so obuo kwan so omo nwen Ghana fo ho ba ono no hu ne say enye saa obia ne kwan ofa so dwene. Now he is not into any competition with anybody. Now say Ghana for who ni mobo na omoto abai the manner or no will be the first person or the Donald Trump. Any Elon Musk mu nyina be fi omo krom aba Ghana and yet just for visiting dem obeba edo or the omo beba ama omo abaye investment e wo Ghana na obia adwen ye ne say Ghana atete apansama che say eni da so bia eni ho ti Ghana for ehu ni mobo na omo nto aba emfama no na omo nso enhwe de ono Cheddar betumi ayede aboa oman konkron Ghana ebusian wey eni nsem bebre na ka ho a Freedom Jacob Caesar ede to da ama Ghana fon so bebre na che omo adwen say it's about time Ghanaian youth wake up and vote for Cheddar and I say the new force party no na omo so take over ebusian nsem wa kan no do so me pese me kasa na be tenten no eni die kwan so ka me ho ne enkoje nsem mu nchemu na ewia na ya che adwen wo comment section no ase.
Problem is not all these three things that I just mentioned. I realized that the problem is they didn't have, they couldn't get, and it was leading them to frustration. So people would have reacted or responded to that. But I realized that when people are vulnerable and they're in a state that they need help or they need a change in their life, he who that takes the decision to move forward and help them would become the hero, would become the legacy of those generation of people. And so I looked at that and it moved me from the business world, the corporate world, and went straight into the leadership world, and it's not a big thing for me. I came from poverty, and from poverty, I had my experience on the streets. From the streets, I had my experience in the corporate world. And then I went into the philanthropical world, then went into the industrial world, which is still ongoing. And then in the leadership world. So it's something that I thought that I was prepared for to do so. I had the courage, I have the wisdom, the knowledge, and what it takes to step up for the youth and people who have been sitting down for 40 years, 50 years without saying anything but complaining. Somebody had to do something, and that's what I did.
You were complaining as well?
I never complain.
Really?
No. I mean, I'm a strictly non-believer of excuses and complaints and all of this. I don't think it pays me. Okay? You either find a solution to the problem, shut up, or walk away from it. It's one of the three. That's what I do.
But was it going on well for you?
It's been going on very well for me, because if I was a complainant, I would still be complaining.
Why would you want to compete then?
Compete who?
As in get into politics and get to become president and make things right. If things were right, I don't think you would want to get there.
Well, Andy, first of all, just point of correction, I don't compete. I don't believe in competition either. You see, all of these things are not my thing. People think I'm competing with people. No. I choose attention over competition. Because anyone that is competing, you find out in the end that is attention that they were looking for. However, I'm not seeking attention. I want people to pay me attention. There's difference in the two. The one who's begging for it is different. The one that gets it, because when they open their mouth or when they walk through the door, all eyes should turn. When they speak through the microphone, it should be headlines. It should be a debate amongst humanity. I think that's what I am, and I'm not here to compete with anybody. I don't think I'm even blaming our leaders for their mistakes. We're human beings and none of us are perfect. All I'm saying is that I've learned from your mistakes and I would be able to do it better because I've learned from your mistakes.
Do you have any political background?
No. Neither did I have a architectural background or construction background or builder's background. I didn't have any background. I just came to this world, as a poor kid, and I realized that, okay, poverty is a bad thing. I managed to get myself out of it, and I realized that riches bring a lot of evil. I managed to sustain it, maintain it, and I realized that wealth makes people respect you, because you sort of share value to humanity. So I said, okay, this is good. I will stay here and create wealth. But after you create a mass amount of wealth, then you have the whole world coming against you, asking you questions. And, they didn't have any questions for you when you started your journey. But now that you have arrived at your destination, everybody's asking you questions. So I said, okay, fine. I came with nothing. I'll leave with nothing. Why don't you guys concentrate on having what I have whilst I go into leadership? So I can have a great purpose for humanity, a great purpose for society, a great purpose for changing this world. And I think that's what I came here for, being able to add value to these three things that I worship. Human beings are going to be here when I'm gone, and nature would always be here when I'm gone. And the world will always be here when I'm gone. But what I'll be remembered by is the value that are added to these three things. And so that is just the basic principle for my decision of going into leadership. And it's not politics. I don't call it politics. I'm not a politician. So the politicians shouldn't think that they have a competition. They should just pay attention to this young man. What I'm going to do is to help society, to help nations. And I don't mind whether I'm there with them or not there with them. But the things that I'm saying, you can see that people are starting to embark on it. People are even trying to claim it. Some people think that, yes, now industrialization, yes, now I'll create jobs. What happened 40 years ago if you couldn't create jobs for 33 million people? You've had 40 years, you couldn't. So please, people should step aside. And if we have ideas and we have great mentality, we have great strategies, let us add it to whatever that exists, and we can correct the mistakes in the past and make a better future for tomorrow.
How old are you now?
I'm 44.
44.
Yeah.
It would be great to have a young president. Recently, Senegal had a 44-year-old president. Yeah. Right?
And Argentina and all of that. I think God is marking the people with 44 now. And God used to mark the people with 33. 33. Jesus Christ and Columbus and this. They were all 33. Bob Marley, 33. But now, in this modern golden age, I think the 40s is the new powerful moment where we're going back to the likes of Kwame Nkrumah, Martin Luther, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey,
and then
Freedom Jacob Caesar. Yeah.
You just mentioned Freedom Jacob Caesar.
Yeah.
Why that name? Nana Kwame Bediako. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Freedom Jacob Caesar.
Yeah.
Back to Nana Kwame Bediako.
Nana Kwame Bediako is my birth name.
Please get closer.
Nana Kwame Bediako is my birth name. Freedom Jacob Caesar is my government name. I created it. It's not just a national name, it's a global name, it's a continental brand. You know, freedom is what Africans have been lacking for the past 5 decades. They claim we have independence. Well, that independence is a contractual independence with our colonial masters. But you could see that we are still not relieved from our economic crisis. I came to give you that economic freedom. I am bringing that. You know, like I said in some of my speeches recently, that Ghana and the youth and the people of this country should trust me. I am your new IMF. I will make sure you don't go back to them to beg again. I will find you any means, by any means necessary, by hook or crook, to create wealth for you on this land, to create millionaires within Africa, and make sure that we strengthen our own economy and stop waiting for people to give us aid. Make sure that we create our own shirts, our own suits in large quantities, in industrial quantities, and stop all of this waiting for people to come and do it for us. This is something that I don't understand. That why should we think like that? So we didn't have that freedom. I brought it. Jacob, on the other hand, I'm sure you guys know the story about Jacob. Jacob was a bad boy. You know, he had a lot of kids, but every one of them was coming from like some kind of woman, and he took care of all of them. You know, what Jacob says is that, you know, I am connecting the tribes back together, the Israelites. And if you see and you look at my brand, you look at what I do, you will see that I don't discriminate tribes. I believe in people, period. You see, so I don't have a nationality problem. And I think that's the problem we have as a country. Everybody is talking about their nationality, their tribe, and they have chosen nationality over mentality. Your mentality is important. You need to have mental training. You need to depend on that. You need to make sure out of your mentality has come with different events, with different production, with different development, different things that has come out of your mentality that nation will benefit from. So I wanted to sort of connect the tribes first in my country. And then when I finish, I'll start connecting the country. So people will really know that this Freedom Jacob Caesar, who is the Prince of Africa, did not tell his story, but he dictated it and made the people of Africa tell the story. That's the brand.
You speak very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, you do. I know you manage your businesses. You have a lot of businesses. Now, you intend managing the whole country, like Ghana, which you're supposed to know almost every problem of every individual, especially those who are calling for to vote for you. For instance, a lot of people have said they are not going to vote because they feel like, it's just a waste of time. We sit on radio and we advise them, you need to exercise your franchise.
Yeah,
it's
no cheddar, no vote, Andy. That's all.
No cheddar, no.
Do you understand what I'm saying? We turn it around because, you know, the old politicians were like, I'll give you money to vote for me. And I am money. Cheddar means money. So the youth and everyone and myself, we're saying no cheddar, no vote. So this time the money is now in one human with a big vision that will benefit the nation. And I think it's a new era of political chronicles that is changing, and you can see it's happening in Senegal, in Burkina, in all of these places. And when you look at some of the countries like Cameroon, you know, how can you have a president that is sick in 80 something and lives in France, but he controls a whole country in Africa? You know, such things should be stopped. You know, the human is very important. To have 20-30 million people in a country is a lot of people.
There's a question I've been yearning to ask you, and I kept telling my team that once Nana Kwame Bediakun sits in front of me, that will be the first question I will ask. Unfortunately, I've defeated that purpose. However, it's never late. Just as I was asking that about managing the whole country, it involves governance, politics. First of all, what is governance?
Well, for me, governance is not just political responsibility. Governance is managing your world with rules, regulations that falls under judiciary systems, under legislation, under constitution, and then making sure that you are responsible and accountable for whatever resources that is put into your hands. That's governance. However, if you relate it to political governance, then you are responsible for the state resources you're responsible for human development, national development, and social development. Now, you are responsible for doing these things, but you're not supposed to say that you, the government, I am going to do business to do it. You are supposed to use the resources and the mindset with the team, the cabinet, the ministerial cabinets, the parliaments, all the laws around you. You're supposed to be able to use these things to drive what you have as a state resources to make it a basic beneficial factor for the average living person. You are supposed to make sure that there is fairness of equity. You have to make sure that there is fairness of equality. You have to make sure there is fairness of empowerment. These are the three things behind the new force. These are our core principles: equity, equality, and empowerment. And if a government thinks with these three things, we are going to have a competitive government just like the European government or Asian or American government. But I think there is a huge gap in the governance of African countries. So we seem to be dependent on foreign political influence from people to decide, because we can't decide on our own. That's because our governance is not relative to their governance. Their governance has become successful. They have governed their people very well. They have created a passport that goes to 200 countries, free visa. They have created all welfare for people who are sick. Taxes money are going into national development and is supporting the country, the sick, the hospitals, everything. And then they have industrial support and they have reserves of minerals that they have extracted from other countries. So these are the things that you need as a country to protect yourself, to have the gadgets of industrializing your people. That's the way you can develop their mindsets. That's the way you can develop their strength, their courage, and uplift them, because they become an average person. They become a middle income living person, and people don't like to lose that opportunity. When I know that I can get $3,000 every month as a policeman, which is 30,000 or 40,000 Ghana, and it can pay for my house mortgage, it can pay for my cars, I can pay for my children's school fees, I don't want to lose that. If anybody comes in front of me and tries to give me bribe, I will refuse it, because if the bribe stops me from getting this revenue, my whole life ends. But if you take all this value from me and strip me off, hey, even if you give me pure water for bribe, I would take it, because I think one of my children might need water. You see, so I think we Africans have taken value from our people, and it's one of the reasons why I came as the new force, as the new unifier for the youth and women of this country. Because if I'm able to give the value back to them, I am going to have the biggest army in the history of Africa's population. And Africa has the biggest young population, which I believe is also the biggest labor force yet to be tapped into. How do I take this very serious? Because I'm a businessman, I'm a visionary, and I can see that that is a lot of wealth once I'm able to tap into that.
Right, I see. Here you are on the Hits FM. Hits is a youthful captive portal.
Hit me.
and so the focus is on show business mostly. I hardly hear you talk about show business. I think the last time you got into our space was the mention of purchasing a football club.
Yeah.
Right. How well do you know our industry? I know, okay, for a fact that some time ago you were involved. I think you were supporting some acts, some musicians.
I've always been involved. You know, I like show business. I'm with you, and you can see that most of my friends are from here. You know, I have friends who are footballers. I have friends who are musicians, from Davido to Wizkid to Stonebwoy to Shatta. Everybody is my friend. Shatta Wale. Everybody. I don't discriminate. When you go to the boxing sector, I have Azuma Nelson. I have Floyd Mayweather. You go to the model world, I have Naomi Campbell. I have Kate Moss. All the top people in the fashion industry, music industry, football industry, and I build studios to help, you know, the kids to come up.
How do you establish relationships with all of these giants?
I would answer you that in a minute, but I just wanted to finish on your question.
Right.
That my investment in entertainment sector, in the fashion sector, has been big. I've been supporting people from Mauli Okujato to Kofi Ansame, and may he rest in peace. You know, I've helped all of these people when we had the studios, Wonderworld Studios, back in 2004. You know, we were preparing people like Payday and all of this. They were my friends before they came out. Wizkid was my friend then. You know, he was building up. He was just a studio boy. So these guys have massive respect for me, that how can I be doing business and still have time for their world and be able to sit down and talk with them and everything. However, I am not interested in being in their industry. Because, yes, I like them. I will advise them. I will help them. But I think my purpose is bigger than that. My purpose is not just to be a footballer or to be a football agent. My purpose is not to be a musician, a rapper, or some music producer. My purpose, all due respect, enough respect to those people, that's what they do. But I feel like I have much more bigger purpose than that. You know, I'm here as a humanitarian philanthropist, and I believe that the value that I can add to humanity is better for me than to extract from them, than to take $10 and take gate fees for them to come and stand there and watch me or watch football or whatever it is. I want to add value to society, and that's where I've been focused on. You know, so even though I invested in those areas, when I realized that the numbers didn't relate to me that much, you know, I kind of left it, but I still connect with them. I'm still with them. So it's not like I'm not thinking about them. I just think that when I get to the industrial sector, industrial power, I'll be able to advise our industries of entertainment, fashion, and football how to structure themselves. You know, put these machines, put these plants, and connect to these people so you can distribute the product, like iTunes, like Spotify. You know, these are machines. These are robots. They're working, you know, but we don't have it. We are not interested in also getting it. So some white man has bought them. Maybe the machines are in India. They have somebody working 24 hours, but they're taking money from everyone in this world. And that is the sort of mentality and knowledge that I want to bring into the industry. So it's not like I've forgotten about it. It's only little I can do now based on the power I have. You know, I can build my own hotels. I can build my own museums and zoos, but I can't change the world. I need more. I need more power. I need more resources. I need more human resources to be able to effect this, to be able to make this work.
Okay. Now back to the question of your establishment, your relationship. Yes.
Yeah, I've always had a relationship management skills from when I was a kid. I remember when I was in school, you know, my mom used to give me 1 cedi, which is probably 1 peso today, to go to school. I used to walk 3 miles to school, 3 miles back. And yes, 6 miles a day. But the thing is,
where was this, here in Accra?
Yeah, in Kumasi, Modern International.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But the thing is, that 1 cedi, I didn't spend it. I used to starve a lot because one day I bought 5 pokis, which was 20 pesos then, for my friends, and they were very happy. But my friends, I always made sure that they followed me. So that was my investment in them. I did things that made them pay attention to me, made them listen to me, made them follow my instruction, made them follow my command. But at the same time, I was a servant to them. I was the slave to them. So I think that's where I acquired my leadership skills. Now, what I want to tell you is that you are asking me, how do I have relationship with all of these people? These people are not just having relationship with me because I'm Cheddar, or because I'm Nana Kwame Bediako, or because I have this or I have that. They have this relationship with me because they see a higher level of leadership in me. They might be stars, but there's a big difference in the stars and the moon.
For example, in Naomi Campbell or Floyd Mayweather, who may have never heard of you or not met you before, how do you walk up to such a person and say, hey, I'm Freedom Jacob Caesar?
I don't, probably. Andy, it's just like how you been liking me. You probably said that if you ever find me one-on-one, you have some questions for me and all of that. So you see, before you meet me or before you even see me, you probably had some plans. But that's because there must have been some things that I've done or you heard about me that has caught your attention. So you're paying attention. But then when you meet me and we speak, and then you resonate, you relate, and you connect, that synergy is powerful. Nothing breaks it. I think that's what is happening. So I'm not seeing Floyd Mayweather as, oh, he's a legend, so no, I'm not starstruck. I respect Floyd Mayweather. I respect Naomi Campbell, but I expect them to respect me the same way that this young man had something that we don't even see in our industries. And I think it's exactly what is happening. But, you know, I think there are more people that I'm yet to, you know, bring to surprise Ghanaians, you know, from Trump to Elon Musk. And I'll show Ghanaians that I'm well connected. Like, you know, my network is bigger than my net worth.
Is that going to happen when you become president?
Well, before, after, it doesn't matter. For me, being a president and also doesn't put me in any special zone. It's still life goes on. It's still responsibilities have to be taken, and it's still accountabilities. I need to just make sure that the old life I live is not rejected, it's not neglected, but it's just exponentially expanded. It becomes bigger because the responsibilities become more.
I'm going to invite my elders to come in. There are lots of messages for you on social media. Speaking of social media, are you active?
I don't know whether to say I'm active or not, because you know I don't follow anyone on my social media platforms.
Really?
Yeah, like my Instagram is 0 and I've never followed. In fact, Naomi Campbell took my phone and followed her one time, and I unfollowed her again, but she still follows me. I mean, she's my friend, and my
Why do you choose not to follow anyone?
That's how I felt like before I got on there. I was never going to get on there, but when I was getting on there, I said, you know what, I'll come and feed people with what I think at when and whenever I think. If you want to take it, if you don't want, leave it. That's all. I just didn't want to follow anyone and to be able to respond to their posts and their questions and their comments, because I'm busy, and my time, it's one thing I don't play with. So all I wanted to is give to the world, but not to exchange with the world on social media.
Yeah,
that's the reason.
Because I think, okay, could that be the reason a lot of people feel like, he's not a people's person, he wouldn't follow you, he wouldn't even mind you when you see him out and you extend a hand or you try to get closer to him?
Oh no,
could that be the reason?
No, I'm very, very, very open. I love people, from disabled people to able people, rich people, poor people, small, big, fat, slim, all people I love. The thing is, people don't know me. People don't see me. They act like they do, but they don't. Because I wake up 5:30 or 6 in the morning, and I use an hour to praise and pray.
Really?
Then I use 30 minutes to run. That's how I build my energy. Then I go straight to work, and it's back to back and back to back, back to back to 8. So I don't have the time to be anywhere. If you ever see me somewhere, you have to appreciate that, because really I'll come.